Welcome to Real Talk with your host, Dr. Valencia Campbell, on the Big Talker 1580.
Hello, and welcome to Real Talk. I'm Dr. Valencia Campbell, and I am your host. Real Talk is a weekly radio show designed to address some of the most challenging issues confronting our community, including substance abuse and treatment, finding mentors, the real story about getting into law school or medical school, personal experiences with trying to obtain a conditional pardon, and so forth. We've had some dynamic speakers on the show, and we're so excited today because today's topic is impacting youth through Job Corps opportunities. Mr. Stephen Belk is my guest today, and Mr. Joshua Brandt, a current student with Job Corps. Mr. Bell is currently the Center Director of Potomac Job Corps Center. He's been a center director at several Job Corps centers. He is a 1987 graduate of Morris College in Sumter, South Carolina. And that's not all. He received his master's degree in city and regional planning from The Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. He and his wife, Tammy, have 4 children. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today.
I want to just say, Dr. Campbell, take this opportunity to thank you and to 1580 AM for allowing us to come this morning. I want to bring greetings from 480 students and 200 staff at the Potomac Job Corps Center. Fantastic.
Now, Mr. Bell, we know that it is imperative that young people focus on completing their high school education and or college as part of their preparation to enter the labor force.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us first, what is the goal of the Job Corps program?
Well, actually, the purpose of Job Corps is an education and training facility that help young men and women between the ages of 16 to 24 to obtain a career. And in addition to a career, earn a high school and a GED. And we place them out on the jobs once they obtain these high school GED and their career.
Okay. So how did you become interested in Job Corps?
Be honest with you, by fate. I was working as a field representative for Congressman Sanford Bishop. I'm from Albany, Georgia. And during that time, I served as the president of the Community Relations Council for Turner Job Corps Center in Albany, Georgia. And during the time that was going through procurement, and the current contractor that was operating the center changed over. And the new contractor asked me to come on board to become a center director, but I had to literally train as a protege to become a city. So 10 years ago, I got involved with the Job Corps, and here I am today.
That is really quite amazing because, like you said, it's almost like they found you in terms of getting involved with the youth. Were you also involved in some other programs that cater to youth as well?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I think that's my background. Has always been involved with catering to the youth. I was the coordinator for the Dougherty County Special Olympics, actually, in Dougherty County and in Albany, Georgia. I was involved with the Girls and Boys and Girls Club in Albany, Georgia, where I grew up. I had a mentoring program with the Dougherty County school system. So I've always been involved with youth development. And so it was just like just an easy transition for me when I made that transition from working with the young men and women in the local school system and transitioning to the Job Corps.
And we know that the Boys and Girls Club is actually a fantastic program throughout the United States. And it does so much to help our young people stay focused with respect to athletics and all these other things. And before we get to talking a little bit about your center, I do know that you also play basketball. So in what ways did you find that helped you in terms of how you also are able to impact the young people?
Discipline. I mean, I played all the sports. Played college basketball at Morris College in Sumter. and training and under the coach Clarence Hawk, you had to understand the concept of being a team member, mental toughness, and being a leader. So all of that I've gained under Coach Hawk and throughout my tenure at Morris College. It's carrying over now in my role as a center director and trying to ensure that I showcase this to the student, not only showcase, but to ensure they know it and work closely with our students and staff every day to understand, help them to understand the concept of being a team member, being loyal, and and understand that mental toughness.
I was going to say, I think that is one of the things that I really wanted you to also share as a kind of a point for our listeners, because a lot of times people tend to think, well, let me just sign my student up for this program or that program and not realize all of the little intricacies that go with being part of that program, this whole idea of mental toughness, this whole idea of discipline and so forth, that is so critical to the success of them in that program. So it is just fantastic that you were able to bring that up, because we have had other guests that have also been pro players, football players, and kind of emphasize that same thing, because so many of our youth are always interested in, getting into sports, at first at least being selected to be on a team, and how you get to do that. So I want to definitely commend you for that and emphasizing that in your program. So let's talk now a little bit specifically about the Potomac Job Corps Center. Just tell us a little bit about that. How many students do you serve, and that sort of thing?
I work for Chugach, Alaska. They're the primary contractor for the center, and MTC is the subcontractor. So the center is contracted for 480 students. Out of the 480 students, we have about 6% of that population is what we call non-residential students. They live off center, and the remaining of the students live on center. It's an education and training facility. And of those 480, we have a comprehensive program for them. We have our education process, which we call the program area. Then we have our community living, which is the residential component as well as the recreation component. And we try to ensure that the student have a good balance of academics, career, trade, choice, and of course, we have to have some recreation things involved in that too. So it's a challenge sometimes trying to ensure we have enough for 480 students because of the diversity that we have amongst our students, and they come from the D.C., Maryland, the Virginia area. Well as Philadelphia, and we work with Transportation Communication Union, TCU. It's an advanced trade program where a lot of our students come from other Job Corps centers that they've completed.
So, and what is the age again for the students that you serve?
Ages 16 to 24. And of course, I want to make sure, Dr. Campbell, I mentioned, they have to ensure that when they go out and work with a outreach and admission, they have to go and talk to an outreach and admission contractor, which who resides and have offices throughout D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and other cities in this what we call the Philadelphia region, and they must meet a income requirement in order to qualify. So if they are going, maybe in college, they living out there on their own, individual, self-employed, they will qualify. So make sure when you do go out and visit the outreach and admission, I need for them to understand that is a requirement criteria that they must meet.
And is it basically two areas, the income requirement or, something like that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And as well as they cannot have many, prior felony records or anything like that. Because that's something will disqualify them from the program.
Okay, and I know that has been an area that the president has also tried to focus on for the Second Chance Act in terms of those who have actually had
yes.
Criminal contact with the criminal justice system.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, where are these other Job Corps centers located?
Well, there's 125 Job Corps centers in the nation, and they're located throughout the United States.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am. We have them all over the U.S. of A. And if they want to travel pretty far, they can also go to. We have a Job Corps center in Hawaii, and I would love to work there one day.
That sounds fantastic. I'd love to go there
ma'am.
too.
That's a great incentive. But we have them throughout all the U.S. of A. But in our region, we call the Philadelphia region. They're right here in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia, Philadelphia, and Delaware.
Okay. Now, we also know that students have the opportunity to participate in some work-based learning activities. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about what that process involves?
Yes, ma'am. Work-based learning, for the listeners, is equivalent to when we was going to college, we call internships, co-op. So we just try to ensure the students get an opportunity to gain some good on-the-job training experience while they're obtaining their GED, high school diploma. Because when they're transitioning to the real world, and we want them to become no taxpaying citizen, they must have some job experience. And in addition to the work-based learning, we call leisure time employment. They can go and find jobs at some of the trades that there happen. If a student in the plumbing, student in HVAC, we try to ensure they connect with some of those employers out there who are looking for some good young men and women who have the ability to be educated and trained and work hard. And we hope they will be contacting us to try to identify some that they can tap real fast and quick. They know they're already trained to come on the job, so they can gain valuable work-based learning or leisure time employment experience.
So when the students come to you, and I know we'll talk about this a little later when Joshua gets a chance to share his experience, but for those who are interested in this program, what are some of the other areas that they could tell you that they would like to be trained in or learn more about or have this work-based experience about? Yes,
ma'am. Dr. Campbell, we have 13 trades at our center. We divide them into two clusters, hotel and lodging cluster and the construction clusters. And then some of the trades that we currently have that involve those two clusters are pharmacy, plumbing, electrical trade, which is we have two trades because it's a very popular trade. Business administration, cement masonry, security and investigation, culinary, hotel and lodging, facility maintenance, masonry, and again, our advanced trade is TCU, brick, and carpentry.
That is fantastic. It looks like you definitely have a very broad array of areas that these young people can select from, as well as pay that would have very good paying jobs for them once they have completed that particular trade.
Yes, ma'am.